Hira or Mahal.
Yo, 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 what is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all things that are sports. Got a good show for y'all today, man. I mean, got a little bit of news out here, Not much with the United. I don't know what it is with the soccer. I know I'm new to covering the soccer stuff, so not much there. Falcons news, fired defensive coordinator. We're going to talk about that. Braves got a couple things. Acuna out there hitting, y'all. Ron Acuna hitting. He hitting some balls, y'all. Come Georgia news. Not much on the football side, but when you're talking about basketball, the team is a little surge going on. Talk about that. Big games coming up for them, though. Big games. Also, the Hawks, man. The Hawks doing their thing. Georgia Tech Lady Jackets doing their thing, right? 2 losses on the season. We're going to talk about that and more. Right now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a second. You are listening to Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all things that are sport.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
All right, what's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central. I'm your boy ACS on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all things that are sports. Let me get some things pulled up here. So, what's good, y'all? Just want to apologize in advance. I am a little bit under the weather right now. So I'm still gonna give it a go, though. I didn't want to skip the show this week. Sort of a lot of news to get to that I didn't want to pass up or whatever. And it's not too hard to do this thing sick, man. I've done it before, so. Y'all just bear with me, though. Bear with me. So before we jump in anything else, I want to ask y'all, what y'all think about this weekend, man? I know that the Falcons, there's no Georgia teams playing in the playoffs in the NFL right now, but that's what y'all's thoughts, man. Real quick before we jump into these Georgia sports. What y'all think gonna happen this weekend? You got the big game, I think, that everybody's eyes is on right now is the Baltimore Ravens at Buffalo Bills. I say Buffalo right now. Just because they're at home. I mean, I know that doesn't mean much when Derrick Henry travels, bro. Right? So I don't know. I still think just because Buffalo's at home, I think they caught the good one with this home field advantage thing when it comes to this. I think that's going to be the only thing that's going to separate the two teams. I think both of the quarterbacks are going to go off. And that's it. Tall task, man. Stroud and the boys going to Kansas City. Can it be done? Yeah, I think it can be done. I think there's there's the possibility of them going there and winning. It's gonna be rough though. We all know what that. I mean, Kansas City. That's the one team that I feel like the word rust should not doesn't apply right when it comes to them because they're such a good football team and good at things like that. So yeah. What's the other game, man? But I do think they can go up there and put some points up. I don't think the Kansas City's going to blow out the Texans. I think their defense, if they can come up with a game playing the same thing they did against the Chargers this past weekend, then there it is. Rams, Eagles. Right now, I'm picking the Rams, bro. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I see the Rams, man. They're nice. And if you notice the way they started the season, very bad. Not playing good football, and then they don't turn it on. I mean, the game the other night, the Vikings defense is good. I don't know why people keep ignoring that fact, and they say, "Oh, it's the the thoughts around here that the Rams can't go to Philadelphia and win are absurd, bro. Like people act like that's such an appalling thing to say. Oh, the Rams gonna have to. Oh, they go, man. Let me tell you something. The last time they played, I'm pretty sure there were two totally different teams. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not gonna say Saquon ain't gonna go off, but I think the Rams. I got the Rams, man. I got the Rams going to Philly. I know people gonna be like, "Yo, what? Oh, you're insane." Hey, man. I don't understand why that's such an insane thing to say. That can absolutely happen. And then the final game, the Washington Commanders going to Detroit. Man, this is rough. This is rough. And look, my mind could change by tomorrow when I do instant replay. To sort of to give you an idea, I just want to talk about these things because this is sort of a Georgia centric show, and this is playoffs, and I got thoughts, man. I got thoughts, and I just wanted to put that out there real quick. I think Detroit's got them, man. They're at home. Washington's good football team, man. Jay Daniels out of his mind rookie season, which crazy because Brock Bowers had an out of his mind rookie season, tied in for the Raiders. And I think that he's not going to win Rookie of the Year offensively. It's going to be Jaden Daniels. He took his team to the playoffs. I think that is if that's not the case, I will be highly shocked, right? If Jaden Daniels doesn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's got to be Brock Bowers. And I mean, you can even put Ladd in there, but Ladd's not going to get it, even though his team did make the playoffs and he went off in his only playoff game of his career. I still think it's either Brock, but I think Jaden Daniels. He's gonna get that thing right. As far as him going to Detroit, I think Detroit's got that. That's a tough ask, man. Especially because Detroit, no matter what happened to them all season, you look at those games. You look at some of those games they played, and they were still like, "Oh, defense has all these injuries. Defense still could get key stops, can do key things when needed, or if they can't, the offense can just outscore anybody." You see what happened in that Buffalo game when the Lions played the Bills. So, yeah, that's what I thought, man. That's what I think, man. Playoffs this weekend as far as the national championship game coming up on Monday, Ohio State. I've been saying that ever since Georgia got knocked out. I'm like, yo, Ohio State, it's their national title to lose. So those are just my thoughts I wanted to put out there before I got into Georgia sports, just talking about my thoughts about what's going to happen this weekend, wild card wise. or not wild card, but in the divisional round of the playoffs, and sort of what the Natty might look like on Monday. I don't think it's gonna be a domination though. I think Notre Dame's they're gonna bring something to them. But I still think Ohio State's got that team, bro. They got that team. All right, y'all. Let's jump on in. Let's move over to the Atlanta Falcons. Not really much united ways. Falcons, as you know, didn't make the playoffs, and some news that came out sort of right after the weekends. The Falcons have fired defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake. This was on the 11th, so it's just a few days ago. Sources tell Raheem Morris became more heavily involved in the defense as the season went on, a sign that improvement was needed. They'll have a new DC in 2025. That looks like it might be the case in Atlanta, man. So we'll see what happens. Just because the Falcons are interviewing Michigan defensive coordinator and longtime NFL coach Wink Martindale for their vacant defensive coordinator position. Sources tell. So I found that that information came across. It was yesterday when I came across it. I was like, oh, and then underneath it, you got all the Michigan fans talking shit. Oh, y'all ain't getting Wink. And then you got people who think Wink ain't no good, and they're just like, no, you don't want Wink. So I don't know what the Falcons gonna do, man. But I mean, look, Raheem Morris is a defensive-minded head coach. I'm sure he's gonna find somebody. I guess Wink, if Wink could come in there and do some things, if they could collaborate. I don't think they'd be interviewing him if they didn't think there was a chance that he can help the football team, whose defense was not near the top last season. Let's be very, very clear about that. Let's see. Let's go. Let me find these statistics right quick. Okay. My computer's acting slow. I hope this is still going on. I hope my video's still clear. My computer seems to be doing what is it? Okay, here we go. Here we go. So the Falcons, right? After the season, 2024 record 8-9, FPI ranking 20, estimated cap space minus 114 grand, bruh. Minus 2025 first round draft pick, 15th pick in the draft. A lot of that is going to be the Cousins stuff, and I'll get to that stuff in a second, where Kirk Cousins is like, a lot of people think a lot of different things. I happen to think, with the Kirk Cousins stuff, that they're trying to, the Falcons are going to keep him as a highly paid second string quarterback. And I think the reason they're doing that is they're trying to make him seem a little bit more attractive to teams by putting good spirits out there about him. But I'll get to that in a second. But the Atlanta Falcons, man, the biggest offseason priority, first of all, the Kirk Cousins stuff, I'll talk about that in a second. He was benched in week 16 in favor of rookie Michael Penix Jr. Cousins is owed a guaranteed $90 million, bruh. 90 millies, right? For guaranteed still for Kirk. He ain't starting quarterback, bro. He doesn't even, he ain't taking the majority of the snaps in practice, if you catch my drift. So, which could escalate to $100 million in March unless the Falcons release him before then. A trade is a possibility, though Atlanta will have to eat too much of this contract to do so, right? Conundrum, Atlanta. What have you done to yourself? This is serious, right? This has the potential, because nobody's coming out, and there's gonna be teams, and there's always teams that need quarterbacks. There's always teams that could use a quarterback of Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins could play, right? He could play. I mean, I didn't see that. It wasn't he didn't get to the Sam Darnold point where, when you seen him taking some steps back with his play as far as picks and stuff, it wasn't that drastic of a fall, because Sam Darnold was up here. And you can't even see my hand. That's how high he was. And then all of a sudden, last 2 games of the season. So that Kirk Cousins drop wasn't that, because Kirk Cousins wasn't up there to begin with. Before some of his bad play started rearing its head during the season, which made them make the decision to put Penix in as the quarterback, right? So Cousins returning to be Penix backup seems like a long shot. We'll get to that in a second. Under the radar offseason priority, right? And all this stuff is on ESPN if you want to read it, man. I found this article to be interesting, as it sort of aligned with some of my thoughts when it came to the Falcons. The secondary, right? Jesse Bates and cornerback A.J. Terrell. The Falcons were tied for worst in opponent completions percentage going into week 18. Safeties Justin Simmons and Richie Grant, and cornerbacks Mike Hughes and D. Alford are all free agents. Got a lot of cats out there that need to re-sign. Let us know whether Drew Dalman. Center Drew Dalman. Popular player, good center, great player. There will probably be some interest in him outside of that, because he is a free agent, right? So the latest on whether they will re-sign him, right? Matthew Judon, Justin Simmons, notable defensive free agents. They got a lot to keep an eye on, man. But Dalman is 26 and an important part of Atlanta stout offensive line. Told you, man, great center, great player. Keeping that unit strong is key. I believe that to be true if Michael Penix, if they want him to develop and sort of, his career to continue to go up, because he played well. The 3 games we saw Penix in action, he played well, right? Again, those picks, every single pick that he threw come off the hands of a receiver. So like drops and things of that nature, right? Deflections. Keeping that unit strong, expecting Atlanta to make efforts to resign Dalman, who he will have a market. Like I said, he's a free agent center who's really good. And I know there's a lot of teams who need offensive line help that wouldn't mind working that boy out. So I think the Falcons need to jump on him as fast as possible, right? Draft outlook. Will the Falcons shock us again around? I don't think so. They need to go probably, like I said right here, Tennessee edge rusher James Pierce Jr. would give him a speedy pass rush presence. He's coming off a 7.5 sack season with a pass rush win rate of 18.6%, tied for second best in FBS. Tight end Kyle Pitts is due $10.8 million on the final year of his deal. Can the Falcons get more for him in a trade than they would compensated pick if he leaves the free agency? I think they could. What do you think out there? What do you think, Falcons? Look, as a matter of fact, Kyle Pitts is one of the ones that the ball hit both his hands in the palm and popped out and was intercepted. So they might be looking to move on, man. I mean, I know there was a lot in the early seasons that with Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, you could say that there wasn't sufficient quarterback play there to get him the football, and they were wasting his talents coming out of Florida. But I think maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe the Falcons, they see him day in, day out, and maybe they feel like, we can trade him and probably get some good, and they probably could, man. I know some teams that are trade for him and probably utilize him better than the Falcons have done so over the course that they've had him or whatever. But man, it says, I think they could, as he has a rosier future on an offense that actually fits his skill set. That's exactly what I just said. My prediction, the Pitts will get dealt to the Bengals for a day 3 pick. Yo, that's out there, ain't it? Homies have said, I think they go get and again, as I go back and look through here again, like I said, the Falcons draft pick is number 15. And look, like last year, they ranked second to last in the league in sacks, right? So you talk about 31 sacks, not that good. Quarterback pressure percentage of 69.9%, which is also not that high when you're looking at the league average. And quarterback completion percentage allowed 24.5%. The team desperately needs defenders who can get to the quarterback. Like I said, the secondary was all right, man. Secondary was all right. You had Bates and them out there, but they need to get to the quarterback. And it has been 7 years since Atlanta had a double-digit sack leader, which was Vic Beasley. The Falcons are 26 in run-stop win rate as well, so their work up front has to be addressed. So that looks like it, right? Make sure you shore up. Make sure you re-sign at center. Get yourself some defensive line help. Help Judon them. Re-sign Judon. See Judon, nice player. I've always liked Judon. So see what they do, man. Let's see what they do. All right. Let's get back to this thing with Kirk Cousins. Let's talk about this Kirk Cousins thing, man. He said the Falcons are ready to move forward with one of the most expensive backup quarterbacks in NFL history, according to the team's GM. Right? It says the Falcons bench quarterback Kirk Cousins, which we all know in week 16, after a stretch of 5 games with 9 picks, didn't play well. They got some losses thrown in there. Sort of, they were in the lead in the NFC South, and then they took a step back when you're looking at that play in that little 5-game stretch. So Penix Jr. took over, quarterback of the future for sure. But Cousins signed the Falcons in March on a 4-year, $180 million deal with essentially $90 million guaranteed over the first 2 years. So he hasn't gotten any of that guarantee yet, so they still got to give it to him. Penix, who was drafted 8th overall in April, will be the Falcons' starting quarterback going forward. Now, you got to do sitting on your bench. And see, here's the thing. They can't move him, man. Who's taking that contract? Like I was talking about just a few minutes ago, if there's going to be plenty of teams that would like to have a Kirk Cousins on the roster, right? That would take one, right? If you can't, if you're not going to be able to draft one, this is one of the least populated good quarterback drafts, if that made any sense. I don't know, it probably didn't make any damn sense at all. But this is probably one of the least populated drafts when it comes to quarterback as far as like, top picks. I mean, you got Cam Ward out of Miami and Shedeur Sanders. I think those are the only two that are like top 5 looking like this year, top 10. So when it's like that, and you got a team that's not going to be able to get one of those players, right? You see those teams, there's always a few of them every year. And that's what Sam, like that's probably where Sam Darnold's going to go, to one of those teams, right? That's starting, maybe their quarterback's banged up. Maybe for whatever reason, they can't draft one. And it's, obviously these teams ain't coming off these stars. So when you have somebody like Kirk Cousins sitting in Atlanta, and they might say, damn, he's a feasible, serviceable quarterback who's had highlight moments at times. Damn, it'd be nice to have him on our team. Not for $90 million guaranteed. Bro, let me tell you something. Ain't nobody picking that up, brother. Nobody's sliding in and saying, hey, what's good, bro? What's good, Andre? Nobody's sliding in to the Falcons DMs and saying, what's up with Kirk Cousins, bro? Not for $90 million. So let's see. We understand that didn't happen. Nobody was happy to make the switch at the time. Yeah. So now what happens is we had to accelerate that plan and go to Mike earlier and yet the allocation of quarterback position. That's when we plan for Kirk as a starter. He's not the starter anymore, but we're very comfortable moving forward with him as the backup. They ain't got no choice but to be comfortable. I hate when they say stuff like that. Oh, no, you're not. You do not want a dude sitting on your bench that's clapping your wallet's cheeks for $90 million. You just don't. Not on the bench. You want some production. So there's by no way, shape, or form are they very comfortable with Cousins being the second. They ain't got no choice, man. Yeah, Penix gonna be fired, man. I think Penix gonna be fired, bro. I think he's gonna be nice. He played nice the games we did see him this season, and like I said, the only 3 picks he had were all dropped. It was all receivers' faults. In other words, balls was on the money. But again, like I said, very comfortable. Y'all need to get out of here with that nonsense, man. You got to get it. If the Falcons released Cousins before the start of the 2025 league year, they would get hit with $65 million in dead money. $65 million dead money, right? Coming from his fully guaranteed base salary of $27.5 million and $37.5 million in remaining proration. So per roster management system, if they do it with a post-June 1 designation, the dead money would spread over the 2025 and 2026 season, $40 million in 2025 and $25 million in 2026. Fontenot's comments could be construed as posturing for a potential trade. That's what I was thinking at first. But again, man, Cousins has a no trade clause, which complicates it even more, right? No trade clause. If Atlanta traded him, the team would be on the hook for that. Dude, if the team traded him, the team will be on the hook for the $37.5 million of remaining probation, while his fully guaranteed $27.5 million base salary would transfer to his new team. $27.5 million base. To who picking that up? I know there's going to be some desperate teams out there, but again, man, the price tag is high. The price tag is high, man. And it is Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? Again, serviceable guy can have some stretches. And as we've seen, he started this season pretty good. And then, we hit that 5-game span where he threw those 9 picks and it was pretty rough. And so the Falcons, you know what I'm saying, they went to Penix, which gets us to where the point we are right now. Regarding a potential trade of Cousins, Fontenot said we would take these things as they come. Of course you will. Of course you will. Yeah. Hey, look, Falcons brass, quit playing games, man. We know what to do. We know, like, we're, some of us football fans have been around football, watching football, and sort of paying attention to these kind of things for a long time. And you can sort of see that. Yeah, of course you say you're comfortable with Kirk Cousins being paid that much to be your second string because you can't do nothing else. You're kind of stuck right there. Said he didn't want to divulge conversation the team had with Cousins being paid his back up. Keep those discussions private. So, yeah, man. Yeah. That's what it is, man. Falcons out here still looking for a defensive coordinator. And they got a backup that's sitting on the bench clapping them up for $37 million, man. Whew, $37 million, man. 37, man. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for any team to have to try to sort of keep up with. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break. When we return, talk about a little bit about the Braves. Acuna out there hitting, y'all. He hitting balls. We're gonna talk about that. We'll be back in just a second. You're watching Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all things that are sports. Be back in just a minute.
there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, what's good? What's good, you guys? Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central from IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all things that are sports. Let's jump into some Braves talk, y'all. Talk some Braves. Obviously, not much out there, right? I'm already talking about Anthopoulos. AA, our trusty GM. Couple signings, though, right? Couple signings out there. This came out yesterday on the 15th, or this is earlier today, 4:10. Matter of fact, I think I just saw this right before we went live. So this is now official. The Braves have signed the young flamethrower Reyes for $1.8 million between him and the Cuban outfielder Diego Torres. They signed for $2.5 million. Braves landed two of FanGraphs' top 12 international prospects in this year's class. Braves clock Reyes as high as 100 miles per hour. Take a look. Two scouts with other teams that Braves had $1.8 million agreement with 16-year-old Dominican Roddy Manuel Reyes Abreu, and a right-handed pitcher who had growth spurt in the past year, changed his mechanics and increased his velocity from low mid-90s to 102 miles per hour. He's 6'3" and 210 pounds. Signing period starts Wednesday. And, of course, they signed him. So that's nice to see. That's nice to see. It's more so for the future, but that's nice to see some little picks out there like that. That's cool. That's cool. Also, and this came out there last week. Where's it at? Where is it? Oh, here we go. The Braves on the 9th, they signed outfielder Jared Kelenic, $2.3 million to a 1-year contract for the 2025 season. They clapping on it. It's always funny whenever something like that comes out and you get to sort of scroll through the comments, man, with the Braves, and they why he woke up from hibernation. Is this the big move? Yeah, I don't know if that's the big move. Jared Kelenic, I mean, think what you want to think about him. Duke can still play. $2.3 million, not that much. I mean, obviously, Anthopoulos doesn't seem to act like he's going to give anybody anything that's going to blow some fucking minds like right now. So, you know, he hasn't done much this offseason to begin with. So, see what happens there. A couple things I want to bring up. Talk about starters in baseball right now. Let's see if I can get this. I do want to put this up here for sure. show that thing right there. Get this. Apologies. So yeah, see right here, the homie Chris Sale in there, MLB's top 100, top 10 right now starting pitchers. Zach Wheeler from the Phillies, Scuball from Detroit, Chris Sale from the Braves, the boy out there, Schemes from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Snell from the Dodgers, Burns from the Diamondbacks, Kansas City Reagans, Cole for the Yankees, Webb for San Francisco, and for the Astros, Valdez. So it's nice. Nice to see Chris Sale up there, right? Nice to see some Braves hitting on that thing. I think the most exciting stuff, though, most exciting thing that I saw Braves wise recently, right, was hold on. Let me get this up here. It's kind of playing kind of messed up. Ronald Acuna, you know, towards ACL last season for the Braves, right? Second time he's torn the ACL. Put him out for the rest of the season. So, you know, through rehab and things of that nature, but he's out here hitting balls, man. He's out here hitting balls. It's good to see that. Hitting them over the fence. He putting them out there. It's good news for Braves fans, man. It's good news for us. You know what I'm saying? The man out there hitting. You love to see it. You love to see it. That's right. That's right. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Love to see it. It's nice, man. Ronald Acuna, stolen base leaders of the 2020s. Nobody has more. He's number one with 143. Jose Ramirez, 126. Shohei Ohtani, 123. Cedric Mullins, 122. And Trey Turner, 120. So, let's see if I can get this right. And again, we'll take a look at real quick when it comes to the Braves. They're what they have coming up here when it comes to the opening spring training, which again, like I mentioned every week until it starts before we start getting some scores out there. Let's see. Oh, Jeff Hoffman ended up with the Blue Jays. You said the Braves backed off of deals with him. Braves was out here trying to get Hoffman, man. And I might need to look at anyway. Spring training with the Braves starts February 22nd against the Twins, the 23rd against the Tampa Bay, and then the 24th against the Orioles. As far as preseason goes, when you're talking about the Braves, let me look at this, man. Live on. I just seen this story, man. It says Jeff Hoffman, Orioles, Braves backed off deals before Blue Jays contract. Okay. The Baltimore Orioles and Atlanta Braves backed out of agreements to sign Jeff Hoffman because of concerns about the reliever's pitching shoulder before he finalized a $33 million 3-year contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. They ain't had a problem with his shoulder. Don't sound like they had a problem with his shoulder. The stuff they saw on the MRIs, whatever they saw was what their team docs were saying. He said Wednesday during the Blue Jays introductory video conference, not any bit in line with the way I feel, though, so it's not something that I'm really concerned about. He knows himself, obviously, if there's some issues there. I mean, you're talking about money. Player ain't about to, say, oh, you might not want to sign me because my shoulder. So the right-hander who turned 32 on January 8th, Hoffman went in for in-person physicals for deals with the Orioles and Braves. All the flags, physical stuff was as big a surprise to me as anybody. He said, if you could check my kind of track record over the past few seasons, I've been as healthy as anybody. It's a non-issue for me. It's just something that they wanted to bring up, and the Blue Jays see me for what I am. So, you know what that sounds like from the Braves? Knowing our general manager, he cheap. They's like, yo, this dude wants this much money, and look what they gave him. $33 million the Blue Jays gave him over 3 years. So he probably wanted something like that from the Braves, and they was like, oh, yeah, we could pay you that. But wait a minute, on this MRI, what is that in your shoulder? What is this here? Something to knock the price down. Man's probably like, yeah, then the price ain't getting knocked down, bro. I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of. So that's what that sounds like for me, my personal opinion, as a Braves fan who knows this general manager don't like to spend no money. So Braves spokesman Jared Burleson and Orioles spokeswoman Jackie Herrick said their teams declined to comment. Toronto gave Hoffman a deal that included a $5 million signing bonus and salaries of $6 million this year and $11 million in each of the following 2 seasons. He can earn up to $2 million more annually in performance bonuses or whatever. So Jeff Hoffman had the chance. The Braves had the chance to sign him, man. Braves had the chance to sign him. They decided to go against that because of my man's shoulders. They looked at the work he had done and things of that nature and decided that that's not the direction they wanted to go. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So yeah, that's about it I got for the Braves this week. Again, not much coming out of that camp. And I hope we hear more. I mean, spring training is starting next month, bro. Like, we need something out here. We need some info. We need some new stuff. So let's switch gears. Let's go to Georgia. Oh, by the way, I always forget to put this out there. Here's this card right here. If you want to find me on all the socials on X, 2279ACS_, Instagram Threads, Blue Sky Vero at 2279ACS. If you want to follow me on the PlayStation Network, ACS 1977, and of course on YouTube, the ACS Universe, and at Instant Replay 706 is my other sports channel where I talk about football all the time. And so, yeah, if you want to find me in other places, this is where you can. I was trying to throw that up one time per show. But, yeah, let's jump to Georgia, man. Let's jump to Georgia. Get this stuff loaded up here. Number one thing I think coming out of Georgia right now, Carson Beck, man. Carson Beck. So, Carson Beck to transfer. We all knew that this probably was coming. Carson Beck started for Georgia the last 2 seasons. SEC championship game and a hit against Texas. It wasn't a nasty what he got his shoulder hit and it tore some ligaments there, and he had to have surgery, which would effectively ended his season. So he didn't get to play for us in the national title game, or not in the national title game, but in the college football playoff. And then all of this is well documented. So of course, I thought he would enter the draft, right? That was the original thoughts that was coming out of there. And so that was the, let's see if I can, okay, yeah. That was the thought, right? It says the Georgia starter came into this past season as one of the top-rated passers available for the 2025 NFL draft. But look, we saw his play this year. And again, once the season was done with and you got to see another quarterback under center for an entire game, you could come to the conclusion that Carson Beck wasn't the only problem, right? Like it was, if you behind that O-line that we had, the way we got dealt, especially against Notre Dame, like it was just it's difficult, man. When you see another quarterback back there and he also has troubles trying to stay upright behind that line, it's a problem, man. So a lot of the issues that people wanted to place on the shoulders of Carson Beck throughout the season, a lot of those things could be alleviated when you just think about man. And that's one good thing I think that we got to see. With Beck going down and Stockton playing that game in against Texas, or not against Texas, but against Notre Dame in the CFP. That's one of the good things, is that we got to see what to look forward to next year, quarterback wise, and number two, it got to show fans that were sort of on Beck's like just chopping down on them all season. Like, okay, you got to take some of that off of him, man. Some of that blame has to come off of him, because Georgia had a hard time blocking some teams, especially like when you have those defensive fronts like Notre Dame, Ole Miss, right? Those teams that gave us problems, headaches. A lot of teams gave us headaches. I mean, Carson Beck was throwing a lot of picks this year. A lot of those weren't his fault. A lot of them were his fault, right? So, again, that's when you go back to the CFP game against Notre Dame, I think it showed that the issue wasn't just him, right? But that's also why I think he's not going to the draft. Number one, the injury. On top of the fact that he didn't have a good season, on top of the fact that he came into the season ranked so high among quarterbacks returning in college football, I think that weighed heavily on it too. So while some people might try to say it's just the injury or whatever, I think it's also his draft stock is not there. I think, he might have been looking at some first-round draft picks, and now maybe not when it comes to his talents, right? So he's taking him to South Beach. It's wild. So it says in an early favorite to go number one. He was an early favorite to go number one in the draft. As far as if he would look, man, if you had Georgia undefeated this season and we were playing on Monday night for the Natty and Carson Beck, if we had that season where we went undefeated and we were playing for the national title game, there's no way in hell that happens unless Carson Beck has a stellar season. And then you might be looking at him again as the number one overall pick in the draft over Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. So, but after a season in which he threw 9 picks during a 4-game stretch and 3 more in a 41-34 loss at Alabama and struggled mightily in other games, his draft stock fell sharply, is what I just said, right? Making matters worse, Beck was injured on that final play, right? So then on Thursday, Beck entered the transfer portal. I always have trouble saying that. On Friday, Beck committed to Miami, where he'll replace record-setting QB Cam Ward. Due to his injury, Beck, however, isn't expected to resume throwing until sometime in the spring. All right. Miami. They lost some players, man. Right? And they also didn't make the CFP. They also had some tough losses there at the end of the season. And is Carson Beck the answer? I have no clue, man. I don't know. And I think, of course, with his girlfriend going, she attends the University of Miami. You could say that there was some, there was some, I don't know what you would call it, some, damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Some convincing there, right? Some, I don't know. I can't, the right word is escaping me right now, but, so there were lots of rumors like linking Beck to Miami back in December, which he briefly put to rest when he declared for the draft, which he did. But just as they did last year with Cam Ward, Mario Cristobal and the Hurricanes stayed patient and eventually won out for one of the top quarterbacks in the portal. Ward was worth every penny with the remarkable season he put together in 2024 and the leadership he brought to the program. He seriously boosted his NFL draft stock as a result of his 2024 season and could end up being a number one overall pick. Like I said, but Beck won a lot of games with the Bulldogs, but never got an opportunity to start in a college football playoff game. Injuries, 2 November losses knocked Miami out of the ACC title game and the 12-team CFP, like I was saying. Both sides are highly motivated to make the most of 2025. And so we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I think Miami might have more issues than just the quarterback, but they got their quarterback figured out. Let's see what he looks like when he starts throwing in the spring, when it's time for that, when it's time to take the bandages off and it's time for him to start throwing what that surgery has done for his arm. And we'll see what happens with that, man. As we see, what's next for Georgia? Beck's replacement, third-year sophomore Gunnar Stockton played well enough. I think Gunnar be all right, man. One of the most productive quarterbacks, led to Georgia for back-to-back 6-3 deficit in the second half to beat Texas in Atlanta. Yeah, so I look, that's probably the biggest Georgia news right now. Carson Beck taking his talents to South Beach. I mean, good luck to the kid, right? I mean, it's like he didn't go to another SEC team, so I ain't gonna give him too much. You gotta go do what's best for yourself, do what's best for your future and your life, and what you think for your career is going to happen. So yeah, I think I think look, I wish the young man nothing but good luck, man. Nothing but good luck and good fortunes down there in Miami. Let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. See if he can improve. I think the injury is probably the biggest thing. And the dude's getting paid like $5 million or something like that. He's getting paid there's quarterbacks in the league right now who aren't going to be making as much as Carson Beck is making for one season at Miami, right? It says that Beck was the latest with Beck's injury on the day of Beck's. Let's see where. Well, okay. I was just looking at this information. It says, I didn't know this. College football players whose team seasons had already ended had until January 6th to declare for the draft. Players on teams that are still competing in the college football playoff have until January 27th to decide whether to leave their names in the draft. Okay. I know that's nice information, man. Nice information. It says the Mayo Clinic website said athletes who experience UCL injuries have a 95 to 100% return rate to athletics for non-throwers and 85% to 95% for throwers. So a very high success rate with that surgery that Carson Beck had. So he'll be back. He'll be back, man. So we'll see what happens down there in Miami, man. It's gonna be. I'm gonna keep a close eye on him as I watch my dogs next season in the SEC. I will be keeping an eye on Carson Beck to see what he's doing down there in Miami. Maybe this is what he needed, man. Maybe he comes out of this next season as the number one overall pick. Maybe this is what he was looking for to try to get himself back on the move. But who knows, man? Who knows? But anyway, we'll take a really, really quick break, and I'll be right back. You're watching Georgia Sports Central on IE Sports Net Radio. Your place for all things sports. Be right back.
Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen B, host of the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in live to the Show of the Land on Tuesdays, where we will cover the Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Guardians, and Monsters. We will also talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets, Crew, Fury, and of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll also cover other colleges in the area like Akron, Kent State, Cleveland State, Mount Union, John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace, Youngstown State, among others. So like I said, if you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in Tuesdays to the Show of the Land with Jen B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Georgia Sports Central. I am ACS on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all things that are sports. Jumping to some Hawks, man. Let's talk some Hawks basketball. All right, Hawks doing. I mean, still middle of the pack. Still sitting there. Sort of just a little bit over 500. Right, 20-19, 2 games back of the Orlando, third in the Southeast Division. Last 2 games, 124-121 dub over the Jazz. And then, of course, there was a game in there against the Rockets that was supposed to be played last Friday that was postponed due to the winter storm that came through Georgia. It did come through, by the way. Got some snow, got some ice, got all of that kind of stuff. It was very cold. It's still cold out there right now. But, yeah, so they had a game against the Rockets that was postponed. And then, obviously, 122-117 over the Suns in Atlanta, where Trae Young drops 43 on the Suns. Good game for the boys. Let's take a look. Where we at? Okay, yeah. Young scores season high 43 points as the Hawks win at home over the Booker-led Phoenix Suns. When it comes to Young, scored a season high 43 points, and the Atlanta Hawks overcame Devin Booker's 35 points to beat the Phoenix 122-117 on Tuesday night and snapped the Suns' 3-game winning streak. Kevin Durant scored 14 of his 31 points in the third quarter, but it wasn't enough. The Hawks, we were without DeAndre Hunter, Larry Nance Jr., and Jalen Johnson. The injuries left Atlanta rookies Zachary Richardshire with the challenge of guarding Durant. Hawks coach Quinn Snyder described the matchup before the game as a unique experience. Young, whose status was listed as questionable with an illness, made 6 3-pointers and 11 of 14 free throws to carry the Hawks. Young and Garrison Matthews combined to make 8 of 11 threes in the first half as Atlanta led 64-56 at halftime. Matthews scored 19 points. Key moment, Durant led the way as the Suns opened the second half with a 20-6 run to take the lead, but Atlanta closed the period with a 14-3 spurt to lead 89-87 entering the fourth quarter. Dyson Daniels and Bogdan Bogdanovic then opened the final period with threes for Atlanta, which kept the lead the remainder of the game. Key stat, Atlanta's Onyeka Okongwu scored 22 points and set a career high with 21 rebounds. So, yeah, first quarter scoring, if you look at it, 31 for the Phoenix Suns, Atlanta with 33. And then halftime, let's see, 25 in the second quarter for Phoenix, 31 in the second quarter for the Atlanta Hawks. And they look good, man, look good. But then, the Hawks, they look good, and they turn around and have the next game where it's kind of rough, man. That's why I think they're sitting sort of on this bubble of being right around 500 and not being able to sort of pull away from that point in where they're sitting at record-wise. Next game against Chicago, which is in just about 10 minutes, and they'll be starting that game up in Chicago against them. Let's see if they reschedule 9 games. Let's see that this is some. Let's see if we can find. Okay, the Atlanta Hawks home game against the Houston Rockets on January 11th was postponed because of a winter storm and to prioritize the safety of players, fans, and staff due to the severe weather and hazardous icy conditions. That game will now be played in Atlanta on January 28th. So about at the end of this month, they're going to redo that game, okay? Other games affected by the shuffle. Okay, that has nothing to do with the Hawks. So let's see what these guys can do, what they got in store, man. They, of course, they play in the East, so it's you're going to be dealing with your Bostons, your Philadelphia 76ers, your Knicks, things of that nature, and they're middling, man. They're middling right here. Orlando's still, but Orlando's 23-18, not that far above 500, as is Miami, who we are also behind. So this Southeast division is not the best in the East, obviously, but I think the Hawks, definitely I think they're going to make the playoffs. Hopefully they can make a long run. But there's players, man, Nance and them that have been hurt sort of this entire season. DeAndre Hunter, Rishashar, injuries. So let's see, get these guys back healthy and see if we can make some kind of run after the All-Star break. Also, vote for the Hawks, man. I ain't seen too many votes for the Hawks, man, when it comes to All-Star break and things of that nature. As far as points per game for the team leaders for the Hawks, Trae Young, 23.1 points per game. Assists per game, Trae Young, 11.9. Field goal percentage, Clint Capella. He's going to go to defense. Rebounds per game, Jalen Johnson at 10.1. Steals per game, Dyson Daniels, 3.1. And blocks per game, Jalen Johnson at 3.1. We'll take a look at the team stats. Trae, let's see, minutes, points, let's see, 23.1. Ngaku he's averaging 11.2 points. Bogdanovic 11.1 points per game. The rookie that we drafted first round, Zachary Rishashar, 10.5 points per game. Larry Nance 9.5. So yeah, we need to get some of these guys back healthy, and see what the team looks like after the All-Star break, man. See what kind of runs we can make. But look, man, Trae Young's gonna play good. He's gonna have his assists. He's got hundreds more, or over 100 assists more than the next closest person when it comes to that stat. So yeah, see what goes with that, man. We'll see what goes. Shouts out to the Hawks, man. Y'all keep going. We'll see tonight. They got 8 minutes. They start off the next game. Let me keep it moving real quick. Let's go back to Georgia as we talk about the Georgia's basketball team, man. The Georgia Bulldogs basketball team right now dropped in for the first time in 11 seasons, right? First time in 11 seasons that the Georgia Bulldogs basketball team has been ranked. Since 2011, UGA is in the top 25, and we come in at number 23 after we had some not only do we come in at 23, right? Not only was the rankings, we come in right here with this. Georgia comes in at number 23. The Dogs playing some good stuff, but also the head coach, man, National Dickie V Coach of the Week, Mike White, man. Shouts out to Mike White, led the Dogs to back-to-back ranked wins for the first time since 06, 07. So look, man, shouts out to the Dogs, man, doing some nice things right now. 14-2, 6th in the SEC, right? After wins over Kentucky and Oklahoma. If you take a look at that right there, caught the dub against Oklahoma, 72-62. And the next game, it doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get any easier. We play Tennessee in about 8 minutes, or right now 7 minutes. We play the Tennessee Volunteers, who are ranked number 6 in the country. So let's see what these Dogs can do, man. Let's see what the Dogs can do right here, man, when you're talking about this game coming up. And then number 1 Auburn on the 18th, with this Saturday. That's a 1 o'clock game. Those are the next two coming for us. Hey, look, man, Dogs are playing well, playing some good football, man. Obviously, when you think about Georgia is more than, it's always a football school, and that's normally what you think about when it comes to the University of Georgia. But hey, man, the Dogs are doing it. They're playing some good basketball, man. Shouts out to Mike White, got the team playing. Let's see what we can do. This is a test. This next stretch. We play Tennessee and then number 1 Auburn this Saturday. So, we make it through that. Georgia make it through that stretch right there. Win both of those games. I like to see how far up we jump in the rankings then. Entering the rankings at 23, it's just good to be there because we hadn't been there in a long time. Let's see if we can move that thing up some more. Let's see if we can give Tennessee all they can handle tonight. Let's see if we can give them the business. And I think they can, man. Again, 2 losses on the season, Marquette, Ole Miss, both of those teams ranked outside of the top 10. So we'll see what happens, y'all. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's pretty much the show, you guys. My throat is a bit sore, so I'm going to go ahead and bounce up out of here. But anyway, Appreciate y'all. Everybody who jumps in with the show and listen to your boy talk about Georgia sports for an hour. Every single week, it's my pleasure to give you guys the news. It's my pleasure to do this. I do love talking sports. I do love football, and it's always a pleasure for me to get to do stuff like this. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys next week. Georgia Sports Central, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all things that are sports.